NFL Sunday is here. Today I'm going to talk about my 3 favorite picks. We got 1 spread pick, 2 player props coming your guys' way. My name is Austin from Calling Our Shot. If you're new, go down below, hit that subscribe button, drop a like too, and comment your favorite pick for Sunday's slate. A lot of people are tossing out winners to you guys in the comment section. That's what it's all about. We have a large community here trying to hit 60,000 subscribers by the end of the year. So go down below, hit that subscribe button. We love to see all the pick comments, and we love to see all the winners you guys are handing out. Either way, we have a bunch of different sportsbook sign-up bonuses down below, like for prize picks, for Underdog Fantasy to place those player prop parlays. But I do want to bring notice to this big one. Caesar Sportsbook has a great bonus offer. If you follow the details in the description of this video, you can get up to a $1,250 risk-free bet. You create an account using our link down below. You deposit and sign up, and you can bet up to $1,250. And if you lose, you get 100% of your stake right back. So definitely take advantage of that. All the details are down below in the description. You can check that out for Caesar Sportsbook, only available for new customers. But without further ado, let's hop into our 3 plays. I'm going to start with the spread pick before the 2 player props. We're going with this team, the Steelers, +3. They're currently -110 on PointsBet. I don't anticipate this line changes. If you get +3.5, take it and run with it, because I'd love to have that 3.5, but I anticipate this line either staying at 3 or going down to 2.5. But I want that 3 in case this is a field goal type game, as the Steelers are on the road in Carolina taking on the Panthers. Now, the Panthers, we bet against them last week. They hurt us good as they took down the Seahawks, and we're back for some coin. And you look at these 2 teams, I think they're very even on paper, and obviously the records are basically the same, I believe. But the Steelers, I think, got a good chance at winning this game if you want to go for value. But for historical context, the Steelers have dominated the Panthers. I mean, the Steelers haven't lost to the Carolina Panthers this century. In fact, they've won 6 straight times. Their last loss versus Carolina was before I was born, back in 1996. I was born in 97. Now, teams obviously changed. The Panthers are a little bit of a different team since 1996, but either way, the Steelers are coming off a loss, which we'd like to see. We want to bounce back here. It was a 16-14 loss to their rival, the Ravens, so they still covered the +3, and the Steelers 1 loss away from Mike Tomlin's first ever losing season. They are 5-8, 5-9, would send them to the first career losing season in his career. Now, the Panthers have looked better as of late. I'll give them credit. Sam Darnold looking pretty decent. They've won 3 of their last 4 games, but the Panthers and their fans can probably admit it's a game that they've gotten their hopes up. They're like, oh, we have a chance to win the division. And there they go. They'll lose this game outright. And look, I know that because Logan, if you know Logan, he's obviously a big Panthers fan, and he's been hurt by this Panthers team far too many times to count. And I think the Steelers have the defense and the offense to beat a Panthers team. It's not like this Panthers team is blowing out other squads. This team's getting a lot of close games, and I think the Steelers can keep this one close, potentially cover the +3, potentially even win outright. Now, we know the Panthers offense, they want, arguably need to run the football. This is a team that I think ran it like 40 plus times last week. But with TJ Watt back, the Steelers rushing defense is a little bit better than the numbers might indicate. And while their offense or their defensive line hasn't looked great as of late, I think they're going to step up here. They know the Panthers want to run the football. They got to step up and stop that. Make some 2nd and longs. Make Sam Darnold beat them through the air. You look at Sam Darnold's passing completions line, sitting at like 15.5. So the books clearly don't expect him to have a big day in the air. And the Steelers secondary can make plays, force Sam Darnold into some mistakes, and they can set up Mitch Trubisky in the offense on some short fields. And that's what the Steelers will need. Kenny Pickett, like I said, is out. Mitch Trubisky likely in. Although I think Kenny Pickett's doubtful, but I don't expect him to be out there. Mitch Trubisky's played pretty well for the Steelers this season. I just think this is too many points. I don't think the Panthers should be favored really in a lot of games this year, but I really like the Steelers. I think this is a good underdog spot for them. Even though they're on the road, you know their fans are going to travel, and they're going to travel well. Give me the Pittsburgh Steelers plus the 3 points as my favorite spread pick of the week. You can put them into a teaser if you want, but I think they cover the +3, potentially win outright, which is like +126 or so. I like the Steelers on Sunday. Now, my 2 player props, start with this first one of my favorite team, the New York Jets. I'm taking Zonovan Knight of their running back under 66.5 rushing yards, -114 on FanDuel. Now, it's probably playable down to 62.5, and it feels wrong fading a guy named Zonovan Knight, but I gotta do it, and you'll understand why in a second. Now, the New York Jets are back at home in MetLife Stadium taking on the Detroit Lions. A Lions, a surging team that's suddenly won and now in playoff contention. This is arguably basically a playoff game for both these 2 teams. Now, obviously, the playoffs don't start for 4 weeks, but let's talk about Knight as he's taken over the backfield for the Jets, and he's been pretty good, hitting this over in 3 straight games since taking over with 69, 90, and 71 rushing yards. Now, he's had some favorable matchups in there, like against the Bears, but he still played pretty well, but it's not like he's soaring over the line getting like 100+ rushing yards. He's still been barely over this line in a couple of those games, and it's a tough matchup against the Detroit Lions. Now, on paper, people might look at it and say, the Lions defense stinks, and while you might be right about their secondary, it hasn't been great. However, they've been very solid up front, very good at stopping the run. In fact, since November started, when you saw the Lions turned around over the last 6 games, winning 5 of those games, They've been a very good rushing defense, and I think it's going to continue in this Sunday showdown. Now, here are the notable running backs they have faced and how they've done. I'll put them all up on the screen. You saw Dalvin Cook last week, 15 carries for just 23 yards. Travis Etienne the week before, 13 for 54. The list goes on and on and on. The only guy to hit the over was Devin Singletary with 14 carries and 72 rushing yards. Now, Devin Singletary has a weapon on his offense named Josh Allen, and I think the Lions were a little bit more concerned about trying to stop Josh Allen, which I believe was on Thanksgiving, than they were about loading up the box and stopping Devin Singletary. That's clear. But the Lions are not going to have that same concern as Mike White is out and Zach Wilson is back in. Now, I don't know how Zach Wilson's going to perform. Obviously, he was benched given his comments after their game against New England, and then Mike White came in, looked pretty well, but then Mike White got just absolutely sawed in half last week against the Bills. Zach Wilson's out there, and I just don't think the Lions are going to be like, oh, we're scared of Zach Wilson. I think they're going to make Zach Wilson beat them, and I think they're going to be fine living with the results. Dan Campbell, a good defensive head coach, and I just look at this Jets offense. I just don't trust it. Zonovan Knight's played pretty well, but they still got Michael Carter, who actually out-snapped Knight last week. He played 50% of the snaps, I believe. Knight played 44 or so, and then Ty Johnson's still there. James Robinson, who they traded for from the Jaguars, is still healthy. So all these guys can come in here and steal some touches. The Jets sometimes just play with the hot hand, and that could be a guy like Michael Carter, who's obviously flashed and showed a lot of talent so far in his NFL career, only 1 or 2 years in. But look, I think 70 yards is a little bit more difficult than people think in an NFL game. I think Knight goes under this week after going over in 3 straight weeks. I think Knight's very talented, good runner. This Detroit Lions defense has played pretty well. So give me Zonovan Knight under 66.5 rushing yards as my first player prop for Sunday. And then we'll end it off with my second player prop, and it's going to be another running back. We're going to James Conner, and I'm taking his over 16.5 rushing attempts. Minus 120 on BetMGM. This is much more juiced on DraftKings. I'd probably wait and not play minus 140 or so juice on DraftKings. Wait till it goes up to 17.5, because I do think Conner can get 17.5 pretty easily as well. Now, look, I don't mind Conner in his rushing yards either. He's obviously the running back for the Cardinals as they go into Denver to take on the Broncos. But look at the last 4 weeks. Conner's played pretty well. I mean, his rushing yards, he's been hit or miss, but so is the team as a whole. Over these last 4 games, Conner, 21, 14, 25, and 15 rushing attempts. So over than under, over than under. Hopefully he's going back over, and this week they're going to need him on the ground as Kyler Murray out for the season with a torn ACL. Rondale Moore out too. I don't know if it's for the season, but he's on IR, so he's probably out for the year. Both those two guys are going to come in and steal a couple rushing attempts here and there. Kyler, obviously, more than Rondale Moore, but Rondale Moore, we're still getting a couple carries here and there. It's just going to be Conner basically handling all the workload. Now, you look at last week, the 2 games that Conner went under, they were blowouts. The Cardinals lost by 28. They lost by 14 points. Last week, when they lost by 14, he only saw 1 rushing attempt in the 4th quarter. So, obviously, this is a little bit game script dependent. If the Cardinals are up, I have a good chance Conner's probably hitting the over. But if the Cardinals are down, as long as they're not trailing by 2+ scores, they still will run the football. And I think they will in this Broncos against the Broncos. Now, we know the Broncos, if you're going to attack them, you're going to look at, do I want to run the football or pass the football versus them? Pretty clear you want to run the football. They're at giving up 4.4 yards per carry, which is not great, not that terrible, but their defense secondary is very, very good. They don't give up a lot of passing yards, and with Colt McCoy back there, can't imagine they want to throw it a whole lot. So I expect them to lean on the run with Conner. Hopefully he can average 4-5 yards per carry, get us into some second and shorts, continue to get the run ball. And I think 17 rushing attempts is certainly in the realm of possibility. This is a guy that just had 25 2 weeks ago. We know the Broncos offense has been suspect. They don't have Russell Wilson. He's out. Brett Rippon is in there. Will he lead to more offensive success? I don't know. Probably not. So we should see a lot of punts in this game. Hopefully the Cardinals offense has the ball a good amount, has a lot of different possessions. And we see a lot of first, second down carries for Conner. I think 17 is just too low of a number. This is a game that is a pick-em. And like I said, the games that Conner's been going under the last 4, it's been because of them down by 4 touchdowns or 2 touchdowns, and they just have had to throw the ball at the end of the game. If they're not having to throw the ball at the end of the game, Conner should have a good chance of hitting this over. You look at the Broncos over the last 5 weeks. They've lost all these 5 games, so they could still win. But still, the last 5 weeks, the Broncos have allowed 23, 28, 46, 24, and 23 rushing attempts. So they're giving up over 23 rushing attempts in all these games. The Cardinals don't really have a backup running back. Keontae Ingram maybe steals 1, maybe 2 carries. He'll get more, obviously, if it's a blowout, but I don't see this game being a blowout. And then Colt McCoy might get 3, 4, 5 carries. But ultimately, I think Conner's going to be in there for at least 18, maybe 19. And if they're leading, probably 20, 21, 22 rushing attempts. So I think the line's a little bit too low. I think Conner's obviously a workhorse back. There's not a lot of those left in the NFL these days, but Connor's basically the number 1 guy on this team and the number 2, number 3, and number 4 guy in that backfield. So give me Connor, give me his over in rushing attempts, 16.5, -120 on BetMGM is your best line. Like I said, if you got too much juice, wait for it to go up to 17.5. Still waiting on a FanDuel line. Normally FanDuel juices these a little bit more. So take 17.5 if you have to. I think Connor either gets both of them or he doesn't get either of them. Probably ends with 14 or 15. But those are my 3 plays today. Let me know your favorite picks down below. And for Saturday, I don't have any leans. I don't have a money line parlay this week. We'll be back to our normal schedule. Actually, next week, the NFL is a weird schedule with Christmas Eve games as well. So we'll see what the slate of next week is. I'll probably have a money line parlay for Christmas Eve. Why not? We got to celebrate. But those are my 3 favorite plays. Drop your favorite plays down below in the comments. Sign up for Caesars if you want to take advantage of that, a risk-free bet that they got going. You can take advantage of it. Go for it. All the sportsbook sign-up links are in the description. Love you guys. Let's go have a great day. We'll be back in to recap our favorite plays in the following days. And this is Austin. Have a great weekend. I'll see you guys back again in the next one. Peace out.